Mic check, mic check. This is a mic check. Peace and salutations. This is QI unapologetically entering the social justice and civil rights building. I am here with a powerful breakdown, update, breaking news about Nolan Wells' case. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Make sure that you smash that like button because it'll get me into the algorithm, the proper algorithm, because social justice is my brand and my mission. I advocate for the voiceless. I've always been an advocate, boots on the ground, out there in the real streets as well as on YouTube. So I need to get an appropriate algorithm so that we can make a difference. As I stated, we're here to talk about and break down what has currently happened with the Nolan Wells case. I would first of all like to say that, and let my followers know that I don't do as many lives on this channel because of the simple fact that I don't have a lot of followers or subscribers. My whole mission, although we all need the money because the money will help in my production, it will help in terms of visual aids and different things in terms of the channel, in terms of different things personally that I have to do to get, better media, because I can do film, I can do media. I have and can again do the production that it requires. Um, you know, just having a few issues right now, but we will get there together. And if not together, I'm definitely gonna do it alone. Just be patient. So that's why it's important for y'all to smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Get me into the appropriate algorithm so my voice can be heard as well. The first thing I want to start with is on yesterday, a certain representative of Turning Point USA, Turning Point USA, that lives in Dallas Fort Worth area. I think he's from Fort Worth. Officer Tatum. And most of us know him as a person who does not really care about his own race, who's, married. And it doesn't matter who you love, but he's married to someone that's not a Black woman. And that doesn't matter. What matters is that he does not appear to care too much about Black women, Black children, and I would even go as far as to say Black men of his own kinship, race, family. He has a very negative opinion of his own. He was involved in the Carmelo Anthony case, trying to diminish that movement, and now he's involved in the Nolan Wells situation, which I don't see how he has anything to do with it. Carmelo Anthony, I can understand because that was out of Texas and he's from Texas. With the Nolan Wells situation, this is Mississippi, and he even took a flight to interview Nolan Wells' friends who were boat owners, and who took Nolan Wells to Horn Island, and Nolan Wells didn't return. and they have not initiated contact in terms of going to funerals, in terms of calling being crump, in terms of contacting the family to make sure that the details are given all the way up to how did Nolan Wells end up in that water? How did Nolan Wells come up missing? Because all of those details are important to determine what happened to Nolan Wells as well. All of those details are important in terms of giving the family closure and a peace of mind. Because, it's one thing to feel like your relative may have been taken too soon, but it's a whole deeper component to not understand or know or have any inkling as to what may have happened. So basically, I like to first of all say that Officer Tatum is lying. No one is out here saying that those boys are racist. No one is saying that those boys' family are racist, although they may be as well, because I have seen some things that could indicate that. The gist of the matter was how Black cases does not get investigated the same as other cases. It's called systematic oppression. And let me tell you, Black people pay taxes as well. So the Black people in any state in Mississippi are contributing taxpayers. That's therefore we should get the same services that we pay for. And in terms of political figures, representation, our voices, that's why it's important for us to vote, and not just vote against Project 2025 and vote, because this is a Project 2025 agenda, and Brandon Tatum is on that same, he's promoting it, and that's a shame and it's embarrassing. As well as there are a lot of others as well. And you'll be able to hear them because they have the same talking points. Because it appears that Brandon basically run these narratives out to MAGA, Turning Point USA, which is TPUSA, and a lot of these other people. And if you're not a critical thinker as any person, but especially as a Black person, because I listen to debates, I listen to non-Black people debate Trump supporters, Republican supporters, and ask why. And generally, their reasons for supporting, like abortion and different things, do not line up. Do not line up. And if you are a Black, so-called African American, me, myself personally, my opinion, I don't see why you would vote for Project 2025 or you would vote Republican. But that's neither here or there. No love lost. Okay? But back to the subject at hand. So, Officer Tatum, in the heat, because right now Mississippi is having tropical storms as well as, heat waves. He has traveled through these heat waves. We've been having heat waves for the last past month, tropical storms for the last past month, which only means we're probably going to have a pretty rough hurricane season. Because this is, I believe, hurricane season. But he traveled all the way from Texas to Mississippi to interview those boys. And he even did a, what we want to call a intro video. And, he had the nerve to say we were going to owe an apology. But I'm here to clarify that the parents, nor Ben Crump, nor Al Sharpton ever said that those boys or his family were racist. We're talking about the fact that We're talking about systematic racism, if anything, where because this is a black family, the case wasn't taken as seriously. The case was not properly investigated. We're talking about the fact that most in smaller towns, Republican places, and different things like that, just like it would be for black people, how we would be connected as family, the same thing holds when it comes to them. So they have family members or people that they've known in all places. If the mother is a judge, the dad is a doctor, if we have, people on the school system, then they're connected everywhere. That means I could call Susie, I could call John and say, John, remember I got your boy out of trouble when it came to this. John, you owe me a favor. I need a favor. That's what we're talking about, connection. The connections. So, although, of course, they are non-black people, of course it's going to, if all of, the non-blacks are in higher places, higher positions, in which they keep it that way. That's why I say it's important for us to vote, and important for us to vote for our best interests. And then if we do put our people in place, it's important for them to realize their role and uphold their role at all costs. That means not be selfish, not do things for the better of your own interest, but to do it for the greater cause. Because you got to keep in mind, you have cousins, you have children, you have friends, you have family. And that's what we're talking about. Because like with Officer Tatum, his pockets are he's getting paid. He's getting paid by them to run out here and represent Charlie Kirk, in which Charlie Kirk stated that he thought that so-called African Americans, black people, would be better as slaves. And guess who agreed? Officer Tatum. Yeah, I would be surprised. And you have to not care about your family. You have to not care about your mother, because he's not. I can say that his children are biracial. His wife is not black. So I see that. But then you have mothers, aunts, cousins. You have an entire family that are so-called black or African American, and you don't give a care about them. I don't know who hurt Officer Tatum to make him that way, but he needs counseling, and we will not coddle him. But he is not our voice. And the way to make him not our voice is to stop supporting and stop promoting. Because on yesterday, he produced a interview of Warren. Now, y'all know Warren is the judge's stepson, the one that ran out here, and she was not supposed to do that because she's a judge. That went against the board. That went against her oath, and spoke on this case. What she was supposed to do is urge those boys, because they should have done a roll call. Because let me tell you, according to maritime law, when you're on the water, and Horn Island is a federal island. Let me take a few minutes to shout out Bird family in the building. If you have any questions, I'm look down every now and then. I know I'm not that great at that, but Bird in the building. That's an OG beef sector family. Love me some Bird. But according to maritime laws, which is the law of the ocean, the law of the waters, if you're a boat owner, and it's just like, with the car. If someone gets in your car, if someone gets in your boat, you're responsible for them. If an accident occurs, you're just as liable. Even if you're in an accident with another person, then you can sue the person that you got into an accident with, as well as your passenger can then sue you. So it works the same way. So those boat owners, that boat captain, and a captain is someone who drives a boat. Okay. They are responsible for doing head count. They are responsible for getting a person to and from their destination. Now, first of all, Nolan was 19. Most of those people most of those children, teenagers, juveniles, whatever you want to call them, they were under the age of 21, which is the legal age for drinking in the state of Mississippi. However, as Warren admitted, they had alcohol. They were all drinking, right? So if you're all drinking, I don't care if Nolan says, and if you did a proper head count to whom came on your boat, because it was three boats. And being that it was three boats, we didn't just need to see one GPS data from one boat. We needed to see the GPS data for all three boats. We need a head count for all of the people, in which he said was 30, on all three boats. We need a head count because, as Ben Crump has stated, there were over 300 people on that island. It was full. July 4th was a big deal. It's a big deal here in Mississippi. That's a family time. Well, it used to be. It's different now, because just like but anyway, I was about to go into something I should right now. But at any rate, there were a lot of people on that island. And someone should have seen something, because Nolan Wells had not been seen since about 3:30. About 3 o'clock. The last sighting of Nolan Wells was 3 o'clock. And that picture of the video that they're showing, that was around 2 o'clock, where they saw him on that boat bending over. That was around 2 o'clock. Now, drinking or not drinking, whether he was drunk or not drunk, that's all due cause. Plus, it's your responsibility to make sure who comes with you leaves with you. So there was no way that they should have left Nolan Wells back there with Katie. And I don't believe that anyways, because Katie stated that, Nolan Wells said he was going back to the boat, and she saw Nolan Wells get back on that boat. Katie said that. Katie said Nolan Wells got back on that boat. Okay? So, there was no way that he should have been left, especially when he was drinking, because it is the captain's and the boat owner's responsibility to make sure that their passengers get off that island. An island that you can only get to with the boat. An island that is federal property on island. Okay? Not just that, they were all under the age of 21. They stated that there were some adults there. Where are those adults? Why haven't they spoken to not just the Jackson County Sheriff Department, but why haven't they spoken to Benjamin Crump? Why haven't they spoken to the mother? Because those are smaller communities. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. They're all intertwined. So you can find people. All right. So why haven't someone came forward to say, why are people taking down their social medias, and different things, which only led us to believe things. Just like Officer Tatum is the only one out here making this a racist case. Officer Tatum is the only one because he wants to attack Ben Crump and Al Sharpton because he don't like other black people. He doesn't like civil rights. He thinks that black people are better as slaves. Okay? So, no one under the age of 21 should have been drinking on that island. And there were, according to what Warren and others have said, adults out there who purchased this alcohol. And like I said, why didn't those adults assure that Nolan got back to the land safely? Nolan's keys, because his car was parked at one of their homes. He rode to the dock, because they rode to Fort Bayou. They were all at Jack's house, Jack's grandparents' house at Fort Bayou, right? All right. His car, his keys, and his phone. How do you leave somebody on the island without a phone? And then no one's seen him since 3. And he magically ended up in some water after they had already previously been out there searching for him. But he pops up on the 6th. So we got the 4th. They searched on the 5th. And he pops up on the 6th. Isn't that suspicious? There are a lot of suspicious. And then why won't they allow the Cajun Navy to bring in their dogs to check the boats? Why don't we have the GPS data, phone records? Why are people not coming out and speaking to, not just, if you didn't want this to blow up like this, then you should have spoke to Ben Crump. You should have spoke to the mother. The sheriff department should have investigated everybody that was on all 3 of those boats. It should have been recorded. We know what a proper investigation looks like. So the racism part is due to the people in Mississippi are taxpayers, but yet when it comes down to investigating cases that deal with Black people, although Black people help pay these people's salaries, hire these people, they're not getting the same services. So you're scamming Black people out of their tax-paying money. So, and Officer Tatum is the one that's making this about race. Nobody has blamed the boys because we don't know what happened yet. Everybody's asking for a proper investigation so we can find out what caused the unalivement. How did this happen? Detail for detail. How did he get into the water? That's it, and that's all. So if you're going to blame somebody for making this race-based, blame Officer Tatum and the rest of those MAGA, TPUSA, Republican, Black conservative counterparts or conservative. That's why he's able to interview, because, Mississippi has always been a Republican state, just like Texas is a Republican state. For all of you out there talking about, we've been talking about Democrats. A lot of this stuff we don't have to go through when it comes to Democrats, and at least we have a good FBI in place, and we don't have a Cash Patel. Y'all research Cash Patel. And so I told you about maritime law. They're responsible for getting a passenger there and back. They're BUI. You're not supposed to boat under influence, like DUI, drive under the influence. And there was underage drinking. There was even allegations of drug use. So when they say no foul play, that alone, and that has nothing to do with the autopsy, in which we received some of the results today. The reason we did not receive all of the results today when it comes to the autopsy is because there were missing organs. And the organs that was missing was the internal throat area, which is like the trachea, the larynx, and different things. Why is that important? Those are the most important components of determining whether or not it was an intentional drowning, a drowning, or not a drowning at all. Uh, Now, as the doctor in DC says, the coroner in DC stated, maybe they were doing toxology, maybe they were doing some additional tests. So, like, everybody's giving Jackson County the benefit of the doubt. But keep in mind, this all the whole reason for all of this is improper investigation. Improper investigation. Because this wouldn't have gone as far if there were proper investigations, proper communications, due process. We pay taxes. Okay. And this is all, a lot of these people, it's all surrounded by the elections. It's all political as well. There's an agenda in place. And, as Black people, so-called African Americans, we are being attacked. That doesn't mean you go attack them, because the difference between Martin Luther King, and shout out to Ben Crump, which is the new king of civil rights. Back then, Martin Luther King was basically trying to get us basic necessities. Like, he brought in the Fair Housing Act. He brought in the Civil Rights Act, which is why we are able to become doctors, why we're able to become lawyers, why we're able to do a lot of the things we do today. Now, we've progressed since then, and they're still on it. And they forgot that we know how to read now, and we're educated, and we have our own professionals, right? Which helps us out. Like, shout out to Ben Crump, shout out to Judge Carlos Moore, shout out to the Not Guilty Boys in Texas, shout out to my not my opinionator, or my opinionated, it's a female attorney out of Texas. Shout out to all of the Black professionals, and shout out to the vloggers, shout out to everyone because this is important. Because although it's Carmela Anthony and Nolan Wells, this is about our freedom. This is about going against Project 2025 and our freedom, and and leveling the grounds and it takes a while, and the torches are passed. And so MLK passed their torch to Ben Crump, and now Sharpton. And no matter what y'all think about them, at least they're Black men that's doing something. Because most of the people who are complaining are Black men, but they don't have any answers, any solutions. They're not doing anything but a lot of times degrading Black women and children, degrading Black people, trying to take from the poor, or hotep hustling. But shout out to Ben Crump. All of this was pro bono. Yeah, he might get it on the back end, but y'all don't think he deserves something? Y'all out here begging for cash apps and stuff from women, taking food out of the children and women's mouth for no reason. They deserve something. So what about the money? Why does every time when it comes down to money, because with the Metcalf family, they had 3 GoFundMe or Go Gifts and Go accounts. Nobody ever complained about them, and they didn't have to pay any attorney costs because it was provided by the state. The only thing, just like they had a funeral, and they raised millions of dollars. But nobody complained about that, but y'all complained about Carmela Anthony's family, which had legal fees, appeal legal fees. They had to move 8 times. It's a shame. It's embarrassing, especially when the all skin folks ain't kin folks do it. But at any rate, shout out to Ben Crump. And I say he's the king of the civil rights era. There are others. Benny Thompson, which is the first point of contact in the state of Mississippi. If you're in the Jackson area, y'all, like, local representation is important. And no, if you don't know who your local councilman, congressman, then you it's your fault. If you're not voting, if you're not serving jury duty, it's your fault. But because uh, between the two cases, you should now see how important voting is. And then we're in an era where they're trying to take away our voting rights. They're trying to cheat, and so we don't have time anymore. This is the last and final hour for us. It's time to stand, or like Officer Tatum and Charlie Kirk and so many others of them. They want you to go back to Jim Crow 2.0, possibly save slavery. Now, if you're a willing slave, go line up at their houses and tell them, just go ahead and volunteer for them and tell them that the rest of us, we feel worthy. We know we're God created. We know that we had, like, ain't nothing here for nobody to claim. You can't feel like you're deserving of all this and all that. It belongs to all of us, and we should have equal rights to everything. And then we started behind, and we might not be fully caught up, but that ain't our fault. That's because of oppression. That's because of systemic or systematic oppression, racism, and bias. So it's time to stand. If you feel worthy, God created you. If you feel like, hey, now, we always going to have some weaklings. But, every race has weaklings. Everybody has weaklings. Stop letting them talk disparagingly about us when they have the same problems and even greater. Learn to critical think, because it's a whole lot of gaslighting going on when it comes down to us and everything. And why are they so focused on taking away our history? They're so focused on us, so focused on what we're doing wrong, so focused on, trying to make us look bad, so focused on stereotyping us. There's a reason. And I'll do that in a different live. But right now, the focus is on Nolan Wells and Carmela Anthony. So Jackson County Sheriff's Department needs to do a proper investigation. We need the GPS data for all 3 boats. We need a head count for all of the people on the boats, and we need their investigative statements. We need the interrogation statements. They all should have been brought into the precinct by now, no matter who they're related to or whatever. We need that. Other than that, that does not rule out foul play. Foul play is ruling out foul play means you've done autopsies, because they're going to say not foul play before they got back anything, before they investigated anything. They just thought they could tell us anything. They thought we were stupid and dumb and we were going to fall for it. But we're not, and we're pushing it into the end. And this, even though these are 2 specific Black so-called African American young men, boys, children, this all has to do with all of us. This is about all of us. This is about our freedoms. This is about our civil rights. This is about the fact that we're not going to continue to allow people to treat us as though we're not human or we subhuman. We have feelings. That mother and that father and that family, just like we want to know what happened. We want to know, like, we deserve the details, because that alone could bring about the closure, and it would not have brought this situation that far. We deserve it. We pay taxes for it. We're owed. So I think I've said everything that I needed to say. I think I've said, and make sure y'all smash the like, share, subscribe, give me an appropriate algorithm. Because I'm an activist, I'm about social justice. That's what I want to do. I know that I'm not in the correct algorithm. I'm in a more drama algorithm. If I had known better when I started this channel, I wouldn't have started it in this algorithm. But I like to thank everyone for supporting me. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like, share. And until next time, I like to say, it is unapologetically Q. I exit in the building. Peace, love, hair grease, and all that good stuff. And until next time, peace. I'm out. And shout out to all of the people who came and supported me. I really appreciate you. And I will respect y'all until the end and appreciate that support. Peace. I'm out. Catch that replay. Smash that like and share. I'm out. Peace.